even though you're always working, you'll always have an interest to progress and proceed and get better, get more knowledgeable, and work your way up to this top of the pyramid where nobody else is, right? You have to be the smartest in the field that you find yourself in and you have a passion for. Vigorous Steve here with some money talk. Some of you guys asked on the previous Vigorous Q&A for me to dive a little bit more into business, money, earning, spending, that kind of stuff. So here we are. Let's give it a try. Let's see if there's a demand for it. Like, share, subscribe, all of the good stuff. Let's start with earning money, right? Unless you're a trust fund baby and you were gifted a ton of money, you don't really have to work. Most of us have to work to earn money. You can't make money. The government can make money. And as we see nowadays, inflation, well, off the scale. So you can't make money, but you can earn it. There's three kinds of currencies. There's gold, which is the currency of God. There's fiat currency, money, which is the currency of the government, right? They can print money, they can make it, and then the overall value and the denomination and the inflation really kicks you in your butt. And then the last currency out there, made by the people, cryptocurrency, right? We'll start talking about that when we get to the spending part. Most of us have to earn money to spend money, so let's start there. How to earn money, right? First of all, you need to acquire a skill that nobody else has. Ideally, a skill that you can get very, very good at, and also a skill that you really, really enjoy. So we can take myself as an example. I'm very skilled when it comes to performance-enhancing drugs, how to use them safely. When it comes to bodybuilding, the nutrition, the training, the supplementation, the blood work analysis, everything that I discuss on this YouTube channel, I don't have so much competition. So I'm very skilled in this particular avenue. And since there's a lot of people who are interested in this subject, I can actively share this on YouTube and do self-promotion with every single video. I mean, let's be honest, every video is an opportunity for me to show skills, and hopefully you use one of my services, right? So I can earn some money. Besides the AdSense, I have affiliates. That's entirely up to you whether you use my discount code or not. I have personalized advice by email. If you have a particular issue that you suffer from and you can't afford the consultations, then I have a cheaper option, personalized advice by email, right? I reply within 24 hours. Consultations always needs a little bit of scheduling depending on the time zone and the place that you find yourself in. I have ebooks for sale, right? I might do a YouTube membership option beyond the current membership options that I have available. I have a ton of revenue streams, and hopefully this will inspire you to do something similar. Acquire a skill that very little people on this planet have, a skill that you really find enjoyable to follow and get knowledgeable on, because it's going to take a long, long time before you're better and more skilled, more knowledgeable than everybody else. It might take a decade, it might take 25 years before you have a skill for you to be a high-ticket earner. Now, if you don't want to acquire a skill that long, right, you can go to university and acquire a skill that way. You get a nice fat piece of paper that proves that you have a particular set of skills for you to have leverage when you start looking for a job. Finding a job right now that's good earning might be a little bit more difficult unless you already have 10, 20, 30 years of experience on this particular field. So if you're just getting started, you just graduated and you have just a piece of paper in your, but no work experience in this particular field, good luck. Yeah, good luck. It's not easy to find a job, or you're going to find something that is just paying you very low amount of salary, and then you have to deal with the taxes, so you get even less. If you're a high ticket earner, right, you've had a lot of experience already. So I'm talking about selling yachts, for examples, or very expensive condominiums or real estate, right? Those are high ticket earners. Those people earn a lot of money based on commission on whatever they're selling. But those positions are not easy to come by, and you need a lot of experience to get into that field. Now, depending on the high ticket sales, of course, rich people are always going to be rich. They're going to be maybe a little bit less rich depending on the economy and how that is fluctuating over the years. But most people who can buy super yachts can always buy super yachts. So if you do high ticket sales, you always have a source of income. And even then, most of those positions also come with their whole set of issues. Trust me, I do consultations with these kind of guys all the freaking time, right? They're on TRT and then a little bit of advice, but they're simply too busy to do their own research. So long story short, if you want to earn well, it's going to be very difficult earning well for an employer, right? You have to do something by yourself and take the risk to, be your own employer or start a business or something along those lines, right? You can be a one-person business. You can be a business with multiple employees. But if you're an employee, in many cases, the financial incentive simply isn't there. I used to be a financial business consultant. I worked my way up to a very nice salary. But now being self-employed, being here on YouTube, I can tell you that salary that I used to earn, which I thought was very, very good as a business consultant, and now I can make in a day. Yeah, I can make that in a day. And that only took 15 years to make the difference from a 1 month salary into a day salary. So you really have to be self-sufficient and find something that you really love, because if you're working for somebody else, by the time you finish your work, at the end of the day, you're going to be tired. But if you're working for yourself, you're basically always working, always learning, always finding means to earn more. And you're doing this all of your own time. So if you don't follow anything that you actively have a passion for, you're really not going to enjoy yourself. But if you follow your passions, even though you're always working, you'll always have an interest to progress and proceed and get better, get more knowledgeable, and work your way up to this top of the pyramid where nobody else is, right? You have to be the smartest in the field that you find yourself in and you have a passion for. It might take years, but you have to find the perseverance to really go for it. So that's the earning part. It's reasonably straightforward. You just have to put in the work and get resourceful. Regarding the spending parts, that's where everybody varies, right? Some people like to spend a lot of money on useless stuff. I see it around me all the time. You don't have to buy particular watches or supercars or nice Gucci bags. You can also put this in investments that I actually appreciate and don't really require a lot of management in order for you to liquidate it. I'm talking about cryptocurrencies, stocks, other assets which are easily to flip. And if you feel that flipping houses is easy for you, please, by all means, it's your money. You can invest it the way you want to. What I would recommend everybody out there, don't go cheap on your health, right? Whether that's pharmaceutical performance-enhancing drugs or blood work or high-quality food or making sure that you have deep tissue massage therapy, right? I don't go cheap on anything that revolves around my body and my health, but I can't go cheap on clothes. I mean, I can't remember the last time I didn't buy anything that was on a discount. I'm going to be brutally honest. I mean, this thing, right? I have 5 of them. I bought from AliExpress, like $2 each. Best money I ever spent. Doesn't have to be branded stuff, right? It's entirely up to you on what network you find yourself into, because some networks really like that branded stuff. And then you have to ask yourself, if I buy particular branded stuff, will I get a return of investment? And that's how you have to look into every expense every time you spend money. Is it worth the return of investment? When it comes to your health, the return of investment is great because hopefully we'll live to, let's say, 90 years to 100 years old. And that will kind of pay for itself, right? The longer you focus on your health, the more money you can earn and the longer you have to actually spend that. But when it comes to supercars or watches or branded clothes, it's only required if you find yourself in a network where that's actually appreciated. So if you're still in a network where people are, let's say, middle class, for example, you can show off, but it's not going to mean anything for you to get into the next class where you start networking with people that are higher earners than middle class and then give you opportunities, open doors for you to earn more. Right? You can do something as simple as going to master classes or find your way into particular cigar lounges where businesses are discussed. You don't need to walk in there with a supercar. You can simply go with a nice cigar and a nice drink and start talking business, right? So again, I'm going a little bit all over the place. I'm just speaking my mind here. What I need you to understand is that expenses need to be there as an investment, right? And if you have a return of investment, a reason to make a big purchase, then I can totally see where you're doing it. But until that time comes, you don't have to. You can put this into something that is appreciating over time. Again, if that's stocks or cryptocurrency or bonds or real estate, right? That's entirely up to you. And you can flip watches and license plates and supercars as well. But that's only if you're in that network of people that can actually purchase that from you after you hold on to it for a couple months or years, or you have limited edition watches or supercars, right? It's your responsibility to get knowledgeable on investments. And until you have some disposable income that you can actually use for investments, focus your money into avenues which are important to you. Again, that's health, right? Common lifestyle expenses. But again, you can save a lot of money on most of the expenses that you have. Netflix, you don't have to pay for. You can simply download it. Most of the clothes you can buy on discount. You can actually buy a lot of stuff on discount as long as it's not food, because it's usually close to the expiration date. So find a couple avenues where you don't go cheap, and find a lot of avenues where you can't go cheap because it doesn't set you back, whether that's on your reputation or your overall health, or for things that are also important to life, right? You can ease back on a lot of expenses and save some of that money for appreciating assets as an investment.